Well, this game has had an interesting development, eh? Now, before I start the review, I want to clarify something. If you're one of those people that loves this game, absolutely adores it, giving this game a 10 out of 10, Game of the Year, best Pokemon game of all time, awesome. You have every right to think that way. This is my opinion, experiences, and some facts about the game that I went through while making this project. As there have been so much frustration while playing this game, some major gripes, and really poor decisions. So if you still think that this is a good game, you have every right to think that. As for me, I did not hold anything back, as I will not let my bias towards Pokemon get to me no more. Though I would love to hear your opinions and let me know if I'm wrong or not. But let's be civil, as we can agree and disagree all we want. With that said, let's get to the review. Pokemon Legends ZA released on October 16, 2025, and it was one of my most anticipated game of the year. Pokemon has been one of my favorite game franchises of all time, dating all the way back to Heart Gold, my first game of the series. Legends ZA is a successor to the fantastic Pokemon Legends Arceus, a great game that innovates the Pokemon formula. My hopes were very high, as Legends Arceus was fun with its beautiful art style, amazing gameplay, expansive and explorable diverse biomes. Yeah, the frame rate is kinda balls, but it didn't hinder the charm that the game gives. So you can see why I was excited. I arrived at my nearest target, bought Legends ZA on day one, played it, and what the hell is this? The story begins with a few characters standing in front of the prison tower, glowing and bursting into the light. You get to choose your choice of character gender, like many other Pokemon games, with the returning mechanics from X and Y customizations. Great stuff! You start off on a train and make your stop in Illumia City. You then meet your rival depending on your gender, Urbane or Toonie. And this is where the plot kind of ends. As soon as you meet up with your rival at the hotel you'll be staying for the rest of the game, acting as the hub, meeting with AZ, a returning character from X and Y, alongside with two other partners, Naveen and Lita. These three will be with you throughout the game, aside from AZ, as he stays at the hotel through the rest of the game. You'll meet other characters as well, but their roles in the story is relatively minimal. Here is my issue with the story. It's non-existent, and the biggest problem with it is not having any voices. Whenever there is any dialogue, especially with the main character casts, cutscenes will always become awkward at times and make it seem like that they're talking to themselves. When you're around them is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, sure, you can read the dialogue out loud, but why? Just look at this cutscene when you and your rival encounter a group of trainers. Of course, there is music and the characters swinging their arms make noises, but none of the characters make any sound, grunts, or any simple noises to give the immersion to the cutscenes. This isn't the only time that lacks this problem, but it really blows my mind that Game Freak didn't put any effort to add anything to make them feel alive. I didn't really care for any of the characters aside from maybe two of them. Take for example, Corbeau. Sorry, BB Smalls. When he was first shown in the trailer, I thought he was going to be the big mob boss, a protagonist of some kind. He has the look of a shady businessman who will probably chew you up and spit you out like any mafia. Which at times he does get angry when he doesn't get what he wants. But his whole personality is him and his crew are nothing more than a janitorial business. Even the game makes him out to be a shady character, but he's just an everyday man that loves to clean. And yes, I am aware that the game gave Toonie a loan to advertise the hotel and put herself in a massive debt that we the player had to clean for her. And speaking of your rival, she is the absolute worst character in the entire fucking game. Your rival has the same personality no matter which gender you choose. They both have the same big supportive personality, but they are extremely selfish. Earlier in the story, when the whole crew comes together, she claims she is the leader without giving anyone a second thought. In many of the scenes, she's always making decisions that you can't choose because we don't have any right to say anything, especially at the end, which we will get to. The only two characters that I like throughout the game are Ivor and Jacinthe. Jacinthe? I still don't know how to pronounce her name. Ivor is literally Ken from Street Fighter, a big muscle meathead that solves problems by talking with his fists and even breaking his own phone, cause he's a muscle meathead. Not the brightest, and he doesn't really take anything seriously, so he's kind of the butt of all jokes in this game, which is pretty funny. Jacinthe is another great character. She has this unsettling fake smile, acts sweet, but when you deny her tournament later in the game, she becomes a bit of a stalker, almost yandere-like. She also seems very selfish as she cared nothing but the tournament, which is kind of fitting for her nonchalant personality. Unlike fucking Toonie, she has a great design, even locks you up until you accept her invitation to participate in her tournament. These two are the biggest highlight of the story and have more screen time aside from maybe two other characters which we will get to later on. As far as the other characters, they all feel like one-off characters. They don't follow you or even encounter you, not counting the end, let's not get our words twisted here. They all feel dull and less important to the story as they don't really give any impact to you at all. They are there. But alright, fine. Maybe the story doesn't matter as Pokemon is not known for their narrative. Maybe the gameplay will be great, right? Ah, fuck. After meeting your rival for the first time, a Pancham takes your bags and runs off with two NPCs to start up your first battle. You get to pick up one of three starters, Chikorita, Tepig, and Totodile. The battle system has been completely revamped. It is in the style of an RTS, real-time strategy, which was a change I thought was pretty neat. Gone are the PPs, or power points, so you don't have to worry about losing any points when it comes to battling. Instead, your moves will recharge over time, with other moves to use while recharging, and you also move around with your Pokemon to avoid any upcoming attacks. Pretty dope, right? Well, here's my problem with all of this. The idea is to wait for your moves to recharge, reminiscing to an MMO, and battles go by really fast if you know your Pokemon battle knowledge. It gets really boring and repetitive really quickly, as there isn't really any strategy to taking on other trainers or Pokemons. Yeah, sure, there are times where you have to move away to avoid attacks like many of the trainers do. And there might be some struggles if you've never played a Pokemon game before. There is no incentive to strategize at all if you know what you're doing. As a majority of the battles, I simply stood still and OHKO every battle I come across. It's a huge disappointment when you compare it to Legends Arceus' battle system. There will be some comparisons to Legends Arceus, bear with me. I've seen some people say that the battle system is pretty fun. Really? You call this fun? Returning from Legends Arceus is the dodge roll, but it's been modified a bit as it has a lunging dash then rolls. It's a pretty decent mechanic to reaching some spots in the game, as well as timing your dodging against wild Pokemon. It can be kinda tricky on your first time, as some Pokemons are kind of ruthless when you're in a pile of them surrounding you. Alpha Pokemons also make a comeback, giving you more of a challenge to face off as they have a lot of health, defense, and attack. They will target you to attempt to kill you if you're spotted or having your Pokemon engage in battle. Throwing your Pokeball also makes a return, as well as Backshot. And that is all that they brought from Legends Arceus. The item crafting, the extra throwable items, rideable and new forms of Pokemon are completely gone. Item crafting probably doesn't make sense in this kind of scenario as we are in the present time, as well as rideable Pokemon don't really fit in this bland and uninspired city of Lumiose, but they could have added the roller skates like in X and Y did? Exploring is not really that fun either, as the map is kind of small. Of course, you can climb up ladders and traverse the rooftops. Exciting! Not even the new Wild Zone areas are too exciting either. These are the replacements for the biome. They are also not fun to explore, as some of the areas are just one giant circle. Some can be big areas with explorative spaces, a single snow area, which how is there snow in one wild zone in a neutral weather city, and lines? How exciting. Yeah, these are not fun to explore. Battling, throwing, catching Pokemon, it is still a satisfying system that you can get some enjoyment out of, as this is Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all is the slogan. Something similar to Legends Arceus' star ranking is Mabel's research, where you meet Mabel, one of the Team Flare's scientists, making a return from X and Y. This is something that'll keep you busy throughout the game, but yeah, Mabel's research is fucking hell! There's a list of challenges in order to complete Mabel's research, and you get rewards when you level it up. There is a lot of challenges to complete. The Pokédex is a staple of many Pokemon games where you complete the dex and receive the shiny charm, but they changed the way how you receive it, as you have to complete Mabel's research in order to get the shiny charm, not completing the Pokédex. It's not too different from Legends Arceus. The only difference is you have to complete the Pokédex and leveling the Pokemon's research level to get the charm. It is not locked behind the star ranking, and is an optional thing you can complete at your own pace. Here, it is required to get the shiny charm. And yes, I know doing some of the challenges aren't really that hard, but if you don't know the strategy around it, you'll suffer like me with how tedious some of these challenges are. It is something you can do later, so it could be unfair for the complaints that I'm making, but I do want to have the feeling of being completed and accomplished. And even after I completed it, I felt defeated and unsatisfied with the hell I went through. Now let's talk about the main focus of the game, the ZA Royale. I hate this. 85% of this game relies on playing the Royale, as it is mandatory to progress through the story. Yes, it is required to push through the story. There is story reasons to why this is here, which we will get to later. But this is what I'm talking about when the battle system gets repetitive. The game tells you about the ZA Royale immediately after meeting up with the crew, as it is your objective to battle as many trainers before the night passes. Yes, there is a day and night cycle like many of the Pokemon games, and it is the most annoying aspect when doing the ZA Royale, and the animation takes so long to pass. There are benches that you can rest to pass the time, and only the benches, not any other seats. And no, you can't skip the animation. There's no option to skip it. It is unskippable and wastes more time than it should. You start at tier Z and make your way up to the rank when you face the world challenges. Think of this as gym leaders in the mainline games, which I thought was a neat idea, as some of these characters that act like gym leaders when you reach to higher ranks. The lower tier ranks are nothing more than jobbers. These are pretty neat. While not hard if you know what you're doing, these can pose a slight challenge followed by their awesome music to boot. And once you beat their Pokemon, they sent out their ace Pokemon for a mega battle. Yes, the big gimmick returning from X and Y, Mega Evolution. This is something that fans of Pokemon really want to return, myself included, as it is introduced early in the game, giving some Pokemon a needed boost. Here is my problem with this, as it is the same issue in X and Y. They are nothing more than attack boosting gimmick. It doesn't change the battle in any way other than making some attacks bigger and reach more longer. And that's it. It's cool it returned, but remember this. Once the next gen comes out, because we all know that's going to happen, Mega Evolution is going to be forgotten once again. This is the replacement for new Pokemon forms? Honestly, I prefer new forms over Mega, as it seems the Megas are a bit of an afterthought. Those are my biggest problems in terms of gameplay, as the other small gripes don't really seem like many people know or even care about, like Stealth, which is useless as shit. Mega Shard that are everywhere and act as a currency for buying more Mega Stones for Pokemon that can Mega Evolve, as well as EXP candies. And the new Hover Jump, which is really awkward as fuck to control. Very little use other than the parkour. Yeah, in the beginning of the game, this old mining bastard sets up these weird courses throughout the map where you could use the hover to gather these purple screws, the only collectibles in the game. There's a lot of negative comments I'm giving this game. Isn't there anything good I can talk about? Well, yeah, some. The models of the characters are pretty good, and some of their designs are really creative. Maybe some of them are kind of goofy, but they do look great. Music is also pretty good, as some of the soundtracks are remixes from X and Y or part from the clothing shop, which was just ripped straight from the cartridge and slapped onto this game, which is my favorite soundtrack in the entire game. Despite how boring exploring the city is, there are two areas in the game that are really fun to explore. The sewers is a dark and very detailed area to explore compared to the rest of the game. It's way more appealing looking. The game even comes with an upbeat and creepy music to come with it, and it just looks very interesting to look at visually compared to Lumios's bland and uninspired city. And it's just really fun to explore. Team Flare's base is awesome as well. It's dark, running down. It is great fan service for those that played X and Y with a slower version of its theme. Pretty decent light puzzles, and it's just a blast to explore. And the best part of the entire game is the rogue mega battles. This is the biggest highlight of the entire game. Later in the game, 10% form Zygarde makes an appearance and guides you to an Absol. Your rival lends you a Lucario to fight your first battle against a rogue Mega Pokemon as it transfers you into an arena. Your job is to hit it as much as possible for it to drop Mega Power to Mega Evolve your Pokemon that can Mega Evolve. Each Mega Rogue Pokemon is different, as they have different ways to strike you and move around in the arena, giving you a decent challenge that this game sorely needed. This is honestly the best part of this game. I know I left out the side missions, which are optional things to do, except for the one part in the main mission where it requires you to do 3 of them, but honestly, these aren't really that fun either, and I don't think anyone even cared about these side missions regardless. No minigames. There are these restaurants throughout the map that you can replay for battle gauntlets without healing your Pokemons, which gives a pretty good challenge, but why the f*** would I want to do this when I've been battling the f***ing ZA Royale? There's nothing at stake, no big baddie to take down, absolutely nothing. But now we are going to talk about the ending. So if you don't want to be spoiled, there's going to be a timestamp somewhere and on the display of the video. And for those of you that don't care, cause why should you? There's a lot to talk about in the end, as well as the post game. So if you're still here, then let's just get to it right away. We good? Okay, cool. Because the ending fucking sucks. After you get to rank B, you meet up with 2 former Team Flare members. Oh, yeah, I forgot about these guys. They say stuff about wanting to bring back Team Flare and use the ultimate weapon from X and Y or some shit like that. You encounter this mysterious stranger, L, that you meet throughout the game. God, I wonder who he is. He'll tell you stuff about AZ, you kick the ex-team player jobbers' asses, and finally get to rank A. Then, you speak to AZ and find out the real reason why the ZA is a thing. He set up the whole tournament up so someone can take his place and fix the mess that he made 3,000 years ago. A war between Pokemon and humans that happened during that time. As he built a machine to revive his special Floret, Eternal Flower Floret, because it was his only friend. But it came at a cost of some people and Pokemons to bring the Floret back to life, thus creating the origins of Mega Evolution. Kind of irresponsible for ZA to have children clean up his mess. I get why he wants others to do his work, as he is near in the end of his life due to him coughing in some scene. But this is just a stupid motivation to set up the ZA Royale and an out of nowhere plot line that pops up near the end of the game. Why did the game set up the story this late in the game? Why didn't they just tell us at the beginning and give me a reason on why I should compete in this damn tournament? Cause I've put in 50 hours into this game from completing side quests, catching Pokemon, and doing the ZA Royale, which took up 85% of this game, and now all of a sudden you're gonna pull this? I wanted to talk about AZ when we get near the end, as it is a massive pet peeve of mine from the reactions towards AZ. After receiving this random lore dump, you and your rival become rank A trainers. Oh yeah, forgot. Your rival also participates in the ZA Royale as well as your partners, but it was hardly brought up and it doesn't even matter at this point. You kick your rival's ass and your rival takes the spotlight and takes Eternal Flower Floret and goes into the prison tower. Yeah, you don't matter at this point. After all the bullshit you went through, your rival is the hero of the story. Wow, no wonder everybody hates you. Something fucks up and you're dealing with the slowest and most padding part of the entire game as you slowly walk through all this bullshit in a one linear path just to get to the final boss. This takes forever. Then you finally reach to the end and face off Hyper Rogue Angie Floret. And this is the most boring, uninspiring, slow-paced final boss for a Pokemon game ever. The whole idea of this boss is you fight two of its flowers that have different attack patterns. Once taken down, Zygarde final forms is with you with this battle. Yeah, go figure. You command Zygarde to attack Hyper Rogue Angie Floret, not you, then redo it 2 more times, and that's the entire boss battle. How the f can anyone defend this? The boss is super unique to the franchise, but the whole idea of fighting 2 of its flowers that sit in one spot with a rock that you can hide behind, letting your Pokemon do all the work, then command Zygarde to do 1 move, and then it's over. What a god-awful boss fight. Oh, but it's not over because of course it's not. The giant flower shoots 1 more blast. You give Zygarde a Mega Stone, which was a pebble when you encounter it for a second time. Mega Evolve it to be naked. Press 1 button. Done. Such an unsatisfying ending. After the credits, you and your crew are mourning the passing of AZ, which is kinda sad, but I may end up getting hate for this, and this is what I want to talk about AZ for. I honestly wasn't bothered by AZ's passing, and here is my reasoning. His role is extremely minimal, just like in X and Y. In X and Y, he shows up in a few scenes as this cryptic character, then battle him at the very end of the game. The same thing with ZA. He's yet again a cryptic character that gives vague lore about his past in a few scenes. One time where he's out of the hotel yapping about something that I don't give a shit about, then tells you about himself, his Floret, the ultimate weapon he made, dead. He did nothing the entire game. It's only cause I'm not a massive lore nutjob like most of the Pokemon community, so that's why I hardly felt anything towards ZA's passing. I get it, it's sad, he's a cool looking character, but that doesn't really justify everyone's reaction towards him. How the f did anyone felt anything for this game at all? Not even post-game is even that great. Your award for becoming the best Mega Battle Trainer is a f***ing Infinite ZA Royale. What a f***ing prize. As it is yet again a part of the post-game story, rematching some of the previous ZA Royale trainers with hardly any changes in their team, kicking your f***ing rival's ass for the final time, and some out-of-nowhere plot twist that has nothing to do with the game, you finally get the f***ing Eternal Flower Floret that was supposed to be yours when you became the best trainer in Lumiose. Of course, like I said, there is Mabel's research that you can complete at any time, which was a f***ing nightmare to deal with. Didn't even bother getting all the purple screws, as it is all meaningless. All you get from collecting all 100 purple screws is a giant plushie for your hotel room. Yay. You get nothing for completing the Pokédex, nothing for completing all side quests. You do get Xerneas and your Vital, which is pretty cool. Battling Lysandra as the secret battle. Oh yeah, spoilers, that's the mysterious L character throughout this entire game. Then fighting Zygarde in an awesome battle. Then catch him to complete Dex. And that's it. That's all there is for post-game. Oh, but wait, there's the shiny charm. Yeah, you can do shiny hunting to pass the time, yeah? It's gotta be engaging, it's gotta be cool. Like Legends Arceus, right? Thrilling. It's really sad to say that Pokemon Legends ZA is such a massive disappointment, yet somehow this game is getting high scores in multiple places, and some people are saying that it's the most fun out of the entire series. What? How? Game doesn't look good, repetitive gameplay, flat and boring characters aside from 2 of them, non-existent story with a plot that's jumping out of nowhere at the end of the game. Remember when the game advertises about rebuilding Lumiose? Remember that? Uninspiring city with the walls that are copy and pasted. And don't you dare give me the excuse that this game received a small budget, that being $13 million, and give me the f***ing excuse that this is a test for the next game. Yeah, a test that charges you $70 with a day one $30 DLC with nothing to show apart from the trailer that came out a few weeks after its release. Boy, can't wait for that shit. Such a letdown for a Legends game, as it should have been a home run, an easy home run. Pokemon Legends Arceus was a prime example of how to make and innovate a Pokemon. There hasn't been any official confirmation on how much the game costed. It was estimated to be around $14 million, a million less than Legends ZA. And Legends Arceus also felt like a test for Scarlet and Violet, but it had so much more content, better looking graphics, extremely fun gameplay, a fun as fuck, explorative, expansive biomes. How can anyone defend Legends ZA? Did we forget how good Legends Arceus was and still is? Yeah, Pokemon Legends Arceus does suffer from its really bad frame rate, but like I said, it still didn't hinder the fact that that Pokemon Legends Arceus is still fun. This isn't. Well, the DLC is on its way, and I'm keeping my hopes very low for it. I did forget to mention about Legends ZA's online battle. And for good reasons. I honestly think people should still remember this game once Gen 10 happens, because this is a perfect example of how to not make a Pokemon game. But I am done with this game now. I want to play other games that'll make me forget this game ever existed.